Ending conversations with grace is an often overlooked yet crucial aspect of effective communication and building meaningful connections. Many men tend to make the mistake of overstaying their welcome, thinking that by continuing to talk, they can impress, say the right thing, or maintain the interaction. However, the truth is that conversations, when prolonged unnecessarily, can become awkward, forced, or even dull. High-value men understand that knowing when to end a conversation is just as important as how they begin it. Mastering the art of gracefully concluding interactions allows them to leave a positive and lasting impression without clinging to exchanges that have already run their course. The key to ending conversations with grace lies in reading social cues, both verbal and non-verbal, and understanding when to step back, creating a sense of natural closure. A graceful exit is not about abruptly cutting things off, but about creating a smooth transition that allows others to feel comfortable and valued. High-value men don't need to dominate conversations or seek validation through lengthy interactions. Instead, they prioritize making meaningful contributions, demonstrating their confidence, and knowing when to leave space for reflection. When conversations end gracefully, others are often left intrigued and curious, creating a desire for further engagement. In contrast, conversations that are prolonged or forced tend to leave the impression of discomfort or a lack of confidence. By recognizing the right moment to conclude, high-value men not only protect their own time and energy, but also build respect and leave a lasting impact. This skill enhances their social presence and helps them stand out as men who are in control of themselves and their interactions. Number 1. Calm confidence in conversations. Calm confidence is a fundamental trait that distinguishes high-value men from the rest. It's not merely about appearing self-assured or composed, it's a reflection of their inner state, one rooted in self-awareness and emotional stability. Men who possess calm confidence don't feel the need to prove themselves through loud declarations or boastful behavior. Instead, their confidence manifests quietly, often through their actions, demeanor, and the way they carry themselves. In conversations, this calm confidence becomes particularly evident. These men don't rush to fill silences or try to dominate the dialogue. Instead, they allow space for others to speak, demonstrating genuine interest in what the other person has to say. This isn't a sign of insecurity or indifference, but a testament to their ability to listen actively and attentively. When others feel genuinely heard and understood, they naturally gravitate toward those who offer a sense of calmness and presence. High-value men are aware that confidence isn't something that needs to be loudly proclaimed or proven. They recognize that their worth isn't dictated by external validation or the number of achievements they can list. Instead, their confidence comes from a deep understanding of who they are, what they stand for, and the assurance that they don't need to seek approval from others. This quiet self-assurance makes their confidence far more attractive. It allows them to navigate conversations and social situations without the need to boast or seek attention. They understand that true confidence isn't about impressing others, but about staying true to themselves. In moments of tension or uncertainty, calm confidence helps these men remain composed. They don't let their emotions dictate their responses. Instead, they respond thoughtfully and intentionally, knowing that reactive behavior often stems from a place of insecurity. By maintaining composure, they're able to handle disagreements and confrontations with grace, steering clear of unnecessary conflict or escalation. This ability to stay grounded also ensures that they don't become overwhelmed by external circumstances or external validation. Emotional control is a key aspect of calm confidence. High-value men are aware of their emotions, but they don't allow those emotions to control their actions or reactions. This emotional detachment doesn't mean they're cold or distant. It means they have the self-discipline to manage their responses in a way that aligns with their values and goals. They don't let their emotions dictate their self-worth, and as a result, they're able to approach conversations with clarity and focus. When these men engage in conversations, they avoid small talk and surface-level interactions. Instead, they ask thoughtful questions that invite deeper conversations. This is where their calm confidence really shines. They're not seeking attention or validation from others. They're genuinely curious about the person they're speaking with. By asking meaningful questions, they create an environment where real connection can flourish. Instead of discussing mundane topics like the weather or typical conversation fillers, they ask questions that invite introspection, curiosity, and genuine dialogue. These kinds of questions open doors to understanding, allowing the other person to share more about themselves. And when others feel heard and understood, they naturally connect with the person who made them feel that way. Calm confidence also means not forcing conversations or interactions to meet a specific outcome. High-value men understand that conversations should flow naturally, and they're comfortable leaving space for things to unfold without trying to control every moment. They don't feel the need to impress others through grand gestures or exaggerated stories. Instead, they rely on the strength of their character and the quality of their presence. This creates a relaxed and authentic atmosphere where others feel comfortable being themselves. By maintaining this level of composure, they avoid the pressure to dominate conversations, thereby making the interaction feel natural and effortless. Their ability to listen, stay present, and engage thoughtfully is what sets them apart. Another important aspect of calm confidence is the absence of arrogance. High-value men aren't seeking admiration or validation from others. They understand that their value doesn't come from external approval, but from within. This humility makes their confidence more appealing. They don't need to boast about their achievements or seek attention to feel validated. Instead, they carry themselves with a quiet assurance that is far more attractive than any ego-driven display of confidence. Arrogance tends to repel others, creating an environment of distance and disconnection. In contrast, confidence without ego draws others in because it radiates stability, self-assurance, and humility. When men exhibit calm confidence, they don't feel the need to prove themselves through constant validation. They're comfortable in their own skin, secure in who they are and what they have to offer. This mindset allows them to handle conversations gracefully, whether they're speaking to friends, colleagues, or potential romantic interests. They don't seek control over others or the conversation itself, but rather focus on creating a meaningful exchange. Their confidence lies in their ability to remain calm and centered, even in challenging or unfamiliar situations. Calm confidence also plays a role in how these men handle challenges or setbacks. They're not easily rattled by criticism or failure because they understand that setbacks are part of growth. When things don't go as planned, they remain composed and don't let frustration or doubt cloud their judgment. This level-headed approach allows them to think clearly and respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. It also gives others the confidence to trust them, knowing they can rely on someone who remains steady in the face of adversity. Emotional control and calm confidence are closely intertwined, as one cannot exist without the other. Men who master emotional control are better able to navigate conversations without letting their emotions overwhelm their judgment. They understand that staying calm in stressful situations isn't just a matter of temperament, it's a choice. By managing their emotions, they remain present and composed, fostering meaningful interactions. In social settings, this calmness allows them to engage with others without feeling the need to prove their worth or outshine anyone. Instead, they offer a sense of grounding, creating an environment where others feel at ease. When people are in the company of someone who remains composed and relaxed, knowing that they are in the presence of someone who exudes stability and self-assurance. High-value men understand that confidence isn't a trait that can be forced or manufactured. It's a result of self-awareness and acceptance. They don't seek validation from others, nor do they need to prove their worth through external means. Instead, their confidence comes from an internal understanding of who they are and what they stand for. This calm confidence enables them to engage in conversations with authenticity, depth, and purpose. They don't feel the need to fill silence with words or seek external validation. They rely on their own self-assuredness to guide them through conversations. The result is an approach to communication that is both grounded and impactful, leaving a lasting impression on others. Calm confidence allows high-value men to be effective listeners, create meaningful connections, and handle conversations with grace and composure. It's this quiet confidence that makes them stand out in a world where attention-seeking behavior is often mistaken for confidence. By embracing calm confidence, men create an environment where meaningful and genuine connections are possible, fostering deeper relationships and leaving a lasting impression on those they interact with. Number 2, speaking with purpose. Speaking with purpose is more than just articulating words. It's about conveying clarity, intent, and authenticity in every interaction. High-value men understand that their words carry weight, and they approach conversations with intentionality, ensuring they communicate what truly matters. Speaking with purpose isn't about dominating a conversation or trying to impress others with meaningless chatter. Instead, it's about using language to convey clarity, wisdom, and substance. Every word serves a purpose, whether it's to inform, inspire, or connect. Purposeful communication is rooted in confidence, but not the kind driven by ego. It's a quiet confidence, one that recognizes the value of what is said rather than the volume of what is spoken. Men who speak with purpose take the time to reflect on what they want to express before speaking. They're mindful of their words, ensuring they contribute meaningfully to the conversation. Instead of engaging in small talk or filler language, they ask thoughtful questions, provide insightful answers, and offer perspectives that invite deeper understanding. Purposeful speakers are not preoccupied with impressing others or seeking validation. They're more concerned with creating a dialogue that fosters connection and growth. When people speak without purpose, their words often lack direction and impact. They ramble, repeating cliches or resorting to generic responses. In contrast, men who speak with purpose are deliberate in their choice of language. They're intentional about what they say, recognizing that every interaction is an opportunity to add value. They don't waste their time or the time of others with irrelevant or trivial remarks. Purposeful communication requires emotional intelligence. These men are aware of their audience and the context of the conversation. They read the room, understanding when to pause, reflect, and contribute meaningfully. They don't rush to fill silences, nor do they speak just to hear themselves talk. Instead, they listen actively and contribute thoughtfully when they have something valuable to say. This kind of communication creates a space where others feel heard and understood, making the interaction more meaningful. High-value men understand the power of clarity in communication. They know that ambiguity or vagueness often leads to misunderstandings, confusion, and misalignment of expectations. By speaking with purpose, they ensure that their messages are clear and concise, leaving little room for ambiguity. They prioritize substance over style, focusing on conveying their ideas effectively. Purposeful speakers avoid jargon, cliches, and unnecessary complexity. They communicate with simplicity and precision, making their messages accessible to all. Their words are chosen with care, ensuring they resonate with the listener. They focus on delivering content that has relevance and significance rather than distracting or overly elaborate language. Effective communication is about connection, and purposeful speakers excel in creating that connection. They know that the impact of their words is what matters most. Purposeful communication fosters trust and respect, as people are more likely to engage with those who speak with clarity and authenticity. Men who speak with purpose often inspire others because their words are rooted in intention. They don't speak to impress, but to inform and empower. By avoiding filler or empty phrases, they create space for genuine dialogue. This intentionality builds a reputation of someone who is thoughtful, wise, and trustworthy. Another key aspect of speaking with purpose is the ability to convey confidence without arrogance. High-value men recognize that they don't need to assert dominance or belittle others to be heard. Instead, their confidence is reflected in their ability to communicate with clarity and certainty. They acknowledge their strengths, but they do so humbly, avoiding the trap of ego-driven conversation. Purposeful speakers are self-aware, understanding that their worth isn't tied to how loudly they speak or how many accolades they can share. They trust that their words will carry meaning because of the intention behind them. When men speak with purpose, they engage in conversations that elevate rather than diminish. They create space for others to express their thoughts and ideas, fostering a culture of mutual respect and understanding. This kind of communication isn't about seeking validation, it's about contributing to something greater than themselves. Purposeful speakers recognize the importance of context. They adapt their communication style based on the audience and the situation, understanding that not every conversation requires the same approach. They're mindful of the person they're speaking to, aware of what might resonate and what might not. They don't treat every interaction as one-size-fits-all. Instead, they tailor their communication to meet the needs of their audience, ensuring they're heard in a way that's relevant and impactful. In doing so, they build stronger connections and foster relationships based on mutual understanding. Purposeful communication also requires the ability to listen. High-value men understand that listening is a critical part of speaking with purpose. They're not just waiting for their turn to speak. They're fully engaged in the conversation. They ask questions to gain deeper insight, seeking to understand the other person's perspective. Listening allows them to refine their own thoughts and contribute in a way that aligns with the conversation. Purposeful speakers don't dominate discussions. They guide conversations in a way that benefits everyone involved. The absence of ego in their communication further contributes to the authenticity of their words. They're not concerned with being right or seeking attention. They're focused on delivering value. This removes the need for defensiveness or the inclination to interrupt. Instead, they create space for dialogue, trusting that their words will be impactful because of their clarity, intent, and relevance. Speaking with purpose also encourages introspection and self-awareness. High-value men know the importance of reflection when it comes to communication. They take the time to evaluate what they've said, ensuring their words align with their values and goals. This self-awareness prevents them from engaging in superficial or inconsequential conversations. By being intentional with their communication, they avoid the trap of impulsive or reactive responses. They understand that words have consequences, and they choose theirs carefully, knowing that they contribute to the perception others have of them. Another critical element of purposeful communication is vulnerability. High-value men aren't afraid to speak honestly and authentically, even when the conversation is difficult or uncomfortable. They're aware that speaking with purpose often requires openness and transparency. Vulnerability builds trust and connection as it shows others that they're not merely speaking to impress, but to connect. Purposeful speakers recognize that some conversations may be tough, but they engage in them anyway, knowing that true connection often lies in those moments. Lastly, speaking with purpose requires patience. High-value men understand that not every conversation needs to be resolved instantly or followed up with immediate responses. They're comfortable letting conversations unfold naturally, trusting that the quality of the dialogue will prevail over the urgency to prove or persuade. This patience allows them to maintain their composure, staying committed to meaningful exchanges rather than rushing to achieve a specific outcome. In sum, speaking with purpose is about more than just words. It's about clarity, authenticity, and intentionality. High-value men approach conversations with the understanding that their words hold weight, and they strive to use them in ways that create connection, trust, and understanding. By avoiding the trap of ego and focusing on delivering value, they foster interactions that resonate with those they engage with, leaving a lasting impact on both their lives and the lives of others. Number 3, emotionally detached. Emotional detachment isn't about suppressing feelings or avoiding connection, but rather about maintaining a sense of balance and composure amidst the chaos of emotions. For high-value men, emotional detachment is a skill that allows them to navigate the complexities of life without becoming consumed by emotional turbulence. It doesn't mean they lack empathy or sensitivity. Rather, they possess the ability to step back, assess situations rationally, and respond with measured thoughtfulness. The foundation of emotional detachment is rooted in self-awareness. High-value men understand their own emotions and accept them without being ruled by them. They don't suppress their feelings, but they also don't allow those feelings to dictate their decisions or reactions. Instead, they practice mindfulness, recognizing when emotions might be driving them and taking the necessary steps to ensure they remain grounded. By observing their thoughts and feelings from a distance, they create space between their emotions and their actions, which helps prevent impulsive or reactive behavior. One of the key benefits of emotional detachment is the ability to remain calm under pressure. When confronted with challenges, setbacks, or difficult situations, high-value men don't allow their emotions to spiral out of control. Instead, they approach such moments with clarity, understanding that their emotional responses should be measured rather than overwhelming. They understand that their ability to stay composed provides them with a distinct advantage, enabling them to make decisions that are aligned with their values and goals, rather than being driven by temporary emotional highs or lows. Emotional detachment also involves the ability to assess situations objectively. When others might be consumed by anger, frustration, or sadness, high-value men maintain a sense of neutrality. They recognize the importance of seeing things as they are, rather than through the lens of emotional reaction. By doing so, they avoid making decisions that are influenced by short-term feelings. This ability to detach allows them to respond thoughtfully, rather than react impulsively. Furthermore, emotional detachment doesn't mean isolation or a lack of connection with others. In fact, high-value men are deeply aware of the importance of relationships and human connection. However, they understand that true connection isn't about emotional entanglement. They cultivate healthy boundaries that allow for closeness while preserving their inner peace. Emotional detachment ensures they don't become too emotionally dependent on others, which could lead to codependency or vulnerability to manipulation. By maintaining a sense of detachment, they're able to give and receive love, care, and support without being consumed by the emotions of others. One of the misconceptions about emotional detachment is that it equates to indifference. However, high-value men who practice emotional detachment are far from indifferent. They care deeply, but they're also conscious of how their emotions affect their well-being and decision-making. Emotional detachment allows them to focus on long-term goals, commitments, and personal development, rather than getting caught up in temporary emotional highs and lows. In stressful or confrontational situations, they remain calm because they understand the role emotions play in those moments. They recognize that their responses have a lasting impact, and they strive to avoid knee-jerk reactions that might damage relationships or personal progress. Instead, they choose to respond in ways that reflect maturity, wisdom, and understanding. Emotional detachment also contributes to resilience. Life is filled with uncertainties, setbacks, and difficult circumstances, but high-value men understand that emotions are temporary and fleeting. They don't allow themselves to be held hostage by emotions such as anger, fear, or regret. By detaching from these emotions, they develop the capacity to bounce back from setbacks, adapt to changing circumstances, and maintain a sense of inner strength. Resilience is often built through the practice of detachment, as it allows individuals to absorb life's challenges without becoming overwhelmed by their emotional impact. Another critical aspect of emotional detachment is the ability to set priorities. High-value men recognize that their time and energy are precious resources. They don't allow their emotions to scatter their focus or distract them from what truly matters. Instead, they maintain clarity on their goals and priorities, using emotional detachment to ensure that their decisions are driven by reason and purpose rather than emotional impulses. This allows them to stay aligned with their values and avoid the pitfalls of emotional overindulgence, which can often lead to regret or wasted effort. Detachment from emotions also fosters deeper self-trust. High-value men know that their judgment is stronger when they're not clouded by fleeting feelings. By maintaining a level of emotional distance, they develop confidence in their ability to make sound decisions, even in the face of uncertainty or adversity. Emotional detachment isn't about suppressing emotions. It's about honoring them while choosing to respond in ways that are constructive and aligned with long-term goals. They understand that emotions are valid, but they're also transient, and giving too much power to those emotions can be detrimental. By practicing emotional detachment, they're able to observe their feelings without becoming consumed by them, which leads to healthier relationships, better decision-making, and a more balanced life. Ultimately, emotional detachment empowers high-value men to stay grounded and maintain control over their responses, ensuring that they navigate life's challenges with clarity, strength, and resilience. Number 4, maintaining composure in any situation. Maintaining composure in any situation is a key trait of high-value men who have mastered the art of navigating life with confidence and poise. Composure isn't about suppressing emotions or appearing unemotional, but rather about maintaining a balanced and measured response, regardless of the circumstances. High-value men understand that how they carry themselves in moments of stress or adversity can have a profound impact on their character and the way they are perceived by others. One of the foundational principles of maintaining composure is self-awareness. High-value men are acutely aware of their emotional triggers, and they take the time to reflect on how those triggers might affect their behavior. By knowing themselves deeply, they can anticipate emotional responses and choose to respond intentionally rather than react impulsively. This self-awareness provides them with the ability to stay centered even in high-pressure situations. Composure isn't about ignoring emotions, but rather recognizing them and choosing to manage them in a productive way. In challenging situations, high-value men understand that maintaining composure isn't about controlling external circumstances, but controlling their internal reactions. They don't allow external factors such as stress, frustration, or uncertainty to dictate their actions or demeanor. Instead, they focus on staying calm, present, and clear-headed, understanding that their response can influence the outcome of a situation far more than any emotional outburst ever could. Emotional regulation is a critical aspect of composure. High-value men have developed the ability to observe their emotions without letting them take control. They practice mindfulness, which allows them to stay grounded and focused on the present moment rather than becoming overwhelmed by their emotional state. When confronted with stressful or difficult situations, they don't let fear, anger, or anxiety dictate their behavior. Instead, they acknowledge these feelings, accept them, and choose to act from a place of clarity rather than reaction. This ability to regulate emotions provides a sense of calm and stability that others often find reassuring. One of the mistakes people often make in difficult situations is allowing their emotions to escalate, which often leads to poor decision-making. High-value men understand that maintaining composure doesn't mean suppressing emotions entirely, but managing them so they don't spiral out of control. They understand that heightened emotions tend to cloud judgment, and they prioritize rational thinking over impulsive behavior. When they encounter adversity, they remain calm because they understand that emotional turbulence rarely leads to positive outcomes. In contrast, composure allows them to assess situations objectively and respond with clarity. The ability to remain composed isn't limited to external situations. It's just as vital in personal life, especially in moments of self-doubt or challenges to their self-worth. High-value men recognize that setbacks, failures, or criticism are inevitable, but how they respond defines their resilience and character. Maintaining composure in these moments requires a deep sense of self-trust and a refusal to be consumed by negative emotions. They understand that setbacks are part of life's journey, and maintaining composure ensures they don't become emotionally overwhelmed or consumed by self-pity. Another important aspect of composure is the ability to lead by example. High-value men understand that others look to them for guidance and reassurance, especially in moments of uncertainty. Whether in a professional setting, a social interaction, or a personal relationship, they maintain composure because they recognize that others are often drawn to calm, centered individuals. When situations become stressful, their composure serves as a source of strength and stability for those around them. This doesn't mean suppressing emotions entirely, but instead responding in a way that inspires confidence and trust. By remaining composed, they set a standard for how others should handle stress and adversity, creating an environment of stability and assurance. Composure also involves maintaining perspective. High-value men understand that situations are often temporary and that their emotional reactions should be proportional to the circumstances. They avoid making decisions or judgments based on fleeting emotional states, understanding that emotions can distort reality. They remind themselves that most challenges are manageable and temporary, and that dwelling on them will only amplify their emotional response. By maintaining perspective, they stay rooted in what truly matters and avoid getting lost in the emotional noise. In maintaining composure, high-value men also practice effective communication. They understand that how they express themselves, especially in moments of high stress, is crucial to maintaining calm. They don't raise their voices, react defensively, or become overly argumentative. Instead, they choose to respond with clarity, respect, and thoughtful communication. When they engage in difficult conversations, they remain composed and focused on the issue at hand, rather than allowing emotions to dictate the tone of the discussion. Their ability to communicate calmly and effectively reduces the likelihood of misunderstandings and conflict, and instead fosters an environment of clarity and mutual respect. Lastly, maintaining composure is a skill that requires practice and commitment. Number 5. Active listening. Active listening is a crucial skill that sets high-value men apart in conversations. It goes beyond merely hearing words. It requires full engagement, focus, and genuine interest in the other person. Active listening starts with the mindset that the conversation isn't just about speaking, but about truly understanding. High-value men understand that listening isn't passive. It's an active process that requires intentional effort. When someone speaks, they give their full attention, maintaining eye contact, nodding to show understanding, and providing verbal cues like, "I see," "That's interesting," or "Tell me more." This attentiveness shows respect and conveys that the person speaking is valued. One of the key aspects of active listening is the ability to set aside one's own assumptions and judgments. Instead of formulating responses while the other person is speaking, high-value men remain present and open to fully absorbing what's being said. They understand that listening is about understanding the speaker's perspective, not just waiting for an opportunity to respond. This creates space for genuine connection and trust. Active listening also involves summarizing what the other person has said, which demonstrates comprehension and encourages deeper conversation. For example, restating key points shows that you're not only hearing their words, but also processing and valuing their thoughts. It encourages the speaker to elaborate further and fosters a deeper level of engagement. High-value men are genuinely curious about others, and active listening reflects this. They ask thoughtful follow-up questions based on what they've heard, showing that they're not just hearing words, but are invested in the conversation. Instead of steering the conversation toward their own interests, they let it flow naturally, allowing the other person to express themselves fully. Through active listening, they not only gain deeper insights into others, but also show that they care about understanding their emotions, experiences, and thoughts. One of the benefits of active listening is that it builds trust. When people feel genuinely heard, they're more likely to open up and share more, creating an atmosphere of openness and vulnerability. High-value men recognize this dynamic and use active listening as a tool to strengthen connections. They don't interrupt, talk over, or dismiss what the other person says. Instead, they provide a safe space for expression, making others feel valued and understood. Moreover, active listening helps high-value men identify the unspoken cues in conversations. Often, people convey emotions and deeper truths through tone, body language, or pauses rather than just words. High-value men are attuned to these subtle signals, which allows them to grasp the full context of what's being communicated. By doing so, they're not just hearing the surface-level message, they're decoding what's beneath it. This level of attentiveness enhances empathy and emotional intelligence, two traits that are highly attractive to others. Furthermore, active listening encourages reciprocal communication. When someone feels that they're truly heard, they're more likely to return the favor. This mutual exchange deepens relationships and creates a foundation of respect and trust. High-value men understand that the quality of their interactions improves when they foster genuine two-way communication. They recognize that conversations are opportunities to connect, grow, and build rapport, and active listening is a key tool for achieving these outcomes. Ultimately, active listening is a practice of mindfulness in communication. It's about being fully present, not distracted by external thoughts or preoccupations. High-value men cultivate this presence, knowing that it enhances not only their understanding of others, but also their ability to lead, influence, and connect on a deeper level. Number 6. Stoic body language. Stoic body language is a powerful form of non-verbal communication that reflects calm, confidence, and control. It's the way a man carries himself that speaks louder than words, conveying inner strength and self-assurance. The Stoic understanding emphasizes that one's physical presence is just as important as their words. High-value men understand this principle and master their body language to ensure they project confidence and composure at all times. A key element of Stoic body language is maintaining a steady, upright posture. A man who embodies Stoicism doesn't slouch or fidget, but stands tall and deliberate. Slouching or poor posture not only signals lack of confidence, but also a lack of control. Stoic body language demands that one stands tall, shoulders back and chest open, showing physical alignment and openness. This stance communicates readiness, strength, and an absence of nervousness or self-doubt. High-value men avoid unnecessary movements or fidgeting, as these can betray anxiety or discomfort. Stoic body language is deliberate and controlled. When walking, standing, or sitting, every movement is slow and purposeful, devoid of unnecessary haste or restlessness. A calm, measured pace reflects tranquility and composure, qualities that are highly attractive and respected. By moving deliberately, a man exudes an air of confidence that doesn't need external validation. Eye contact is another crucial component of Stoic body language. A Stoic man maintains unwavering yet respectful eye contact, showing that he is present, confident, and engaged. Shifting, nervous glances, or avoiding eye contact signal insecurity or lack of focus, which can diminish his perceived value. Instead, by maintaining steady eye contact, he demonstrates attentiveness and self-assuredness. This builds trust and connection with others, as it shows respect and genuine interest. In addition to posture and eye contact, Stoic body language places a strong emphasis on stillness. A man who embodies Stoicism doesn't rely on constant movement or gestures to command attention. Instead, his stillness is powerful. He moves only when necessary. His gestures are purposeful and controlled. This quiet confidence stands out, contrasting sharply with men who are restless or overly animated. Stillness not only reduces distractions, but enhances presence, making others gravitate toward his calm demeanor. Stoic body language also embraces the notion of self-awareness. A Stoic man is acutely aware of how his body language affects others and takes deliberate steps to maintain control over his physical presence. He does not let emotions dictate his posture, movements, or expressions. Instead, he remains grounded, knowing that his external actions should mirror his internal state of composure and clarity. This awareness allows him to navigate situations with grace and control, regardless of external circumstances. By embodying Stoic body language, a man communicates that he is unshaken by the chaos around him, maintaining his composure even in the face of adversity. Another important aspect is how a Stoic man handles his hands. Gestures are minimal and deliberate rather than exaggerated or excessive. Hands placed in front, at rest, or gesturing naturally but without tension are signs of a calm, composed individual. Clenched fists, twitching hands, or excessive gesturing signal unease or anxiety, traits that are counterproductive in projecting confidence. By keeping his hands relaxed and controlled, a Stoic man fosters an image of self-mastery and emotional stability. Stoic body language extends beyond individual interactions. It applies to how one carries themselves in public and social situations. A Stoic man is aware of his physical space and how he occupies it. He doesn't intrude unnecessarily, but also doesn't shrink away or make himself invisible. His presence is intentional and commanding, but not intrusive. By respecting personal space and maintaining a balanced stance, he respects both himself and those around him. Finally, Stoic body language isn't just about appearances. It reflects a deeper understanding of self-discipline, emotional control, and clarity of mind. A man who practices Stoic body language doesn't rely on external validation or external circumstances to determine his self-worth. Instead, he remains rooted in his values, confident in his ability to handle whatever comes his way. His body language becomes a testament to his inner tranquility, his clarity, and his mastery over his own emotions. In the end, Stoic body language is a reflection of a man who is in full control of his presence and demeanor, leading with strength, humility, and purpose. Number 7, mastering emotional control. Mastering emotional control is a critical aspect of becoming a high-value man. Emotions are natural, but how they are managed defines a man's character and strength. Most men, when confronted with high-stress situations, fall into the trap of reacting impulsively, letting their emotions take the reins. This is often driven by insecurity, fear, or a lack of discipline. However, a man who has mastered emotional control understands that emotions, though powerful, are fleeting and can be managed with awareness and practice. High-value men are not immune to emotions. They feel them just as deeply as anyone else, but they do not allow these emotions to dictate their behavior. Instead, they recognize their emotions, observe them, and respond from a place of calm and clarity. One of the first steps in mastering emotional control is self-awareness. A man must become acutely aware of his emotional triggers, situations, people, or thoughts that stir strong emotional reactions, and the way these reactions manifest. By identifying these triggers, he can learn to distance himself from emotional turbulence. When faced with intense situations, he pauses, takes a deep breath, and reflects before responding. This moment of pause is where true strength resides. The ability to remain calm and composed under pressure sets high-value men apart from those who react impulsively. Emotional control isn't about suppressing feelings, but rather understanding that emotions come and go. A Stoic mindset, which values reason and virtue, emphasizes that emotions should not control behavior. When a man masters his emotions, he no longer acts impulsively out of anger, frustration, or fear. Instead, he engages in thoughtful responses that reflect rationality and discipline. This doesn't mean he suppresses his feelings, but he acknowledges them without letting them dominate his actions. One of the biggest mistakes men make is allowing emotions to dictate their decisions, especially in moments of conflict or uncertainty. High-value men, however, see emotions as signals, not masters. They understand that reacting emotionally often leads to regret, poor decisions, and damaged relationships. By practicing emotional control, they remain grounded and composed, even when others around them lose their footing. For example, in a heated argument, a high-value man doesn't respond with anger or defensiveness. Instead, he remains calm, speaks clearly and rationally, and chooses to understand the other person's perspective. This approach not only diffuses tension, but also demonstrates strength and maturity. Emotional control also applies to handling criticism or rejection. When faced with setbacks or failures, many men allow their emotions to spiral, leading to feelings of worthlessness or frustration. But a man who has mastered emotional control doesn't allow these setbacks to define him. He acknowledges the pain, but doesn't allow it to consume him. He processes the experience, learns from it, and moves forward with resilience. This kind of emotional maturity is attractive because it signals that he can handle life's ups and downs without falling apart. Another critical aspect of emotional control is maintaining composure in social and high-pressure situations. Whether it's giving a presentation, meeting new people, or navigating a difficult conversation, High-value men understand the power of keeping their emotions in check. They know that emotional responses like anxiety, nervousness, or insecurity can undermine their presence and confidence. Instead, they cultivate calmness and confidence, which commands respect and admiration. Emotional control also means being able to detach from the expectations of others. Many men feel the need to constantly seek validation, approval, or attention, especially from women. This dependency on external validation stems from a lack of emotional discipline. High-value men, however, have learned to detach from the need for external validation. They understand that their self-worth isn't tied to the opinions or reactions of others. When a man is emotionally controlled, he doesn't rely on others to tell him who he is. He knows his own value. This inner confidence radiates naturally, making him far more attractive and influential. In relationships, emotional control is particularly essential. Women are naturally drawn to men who are steady and dependable, not those who are unpredictable or emotionally reactive. A man who can remain calm in moments of stress, who doesn't get consumed by jealousy or insecurity, naturally becomes a source of stability. When a man can demonstrate emotional control, he shows that he can handle difficult situations with grace and composure, which makes women feel safe and secure. Furthermore, mastering emotional control doesn't mean ignoring emotions or suppressing them. It means recognizing their presence, accepting them, and choosing how to respond to them. Emotional control requires self-discipline and practice, but the rewards are profound. A man who has control over his emotions is free from the constant chaos that reactive behavior creates. He becomes more self-reliant, more resilient, and far more attractive to those around him. In essence, emotional control is not about eliminating emotions, but about gaining mastery over them, allowing reason and clarity to guide one's actions, rather than impulsivity and reaction. Number 8. Asking thoughtful questions. Asking thoughtful questions is one of the most powerful tools a high-value man can develop. It goes far beyond surface-level small talk, offering the opportunity to create deeper connections and foster meaningful conversations. Thoughtful questions demonstrate genuine curiosity and interest in others, which is something people rarely encounter in a world dominated by surface-level chatter. When a man takes the time to ask insightful questions, he stands out because he isn't focused on himself or his own agenda, but instead places value on understanding the other person. One of the reasons thoughtful questions are so impactful is that they create space for others to open up. Most people are accustomed to answering mundane, predictable questions like, "What do you do for a living?" or "Where are you from?" These questions rarely evoke any real connection or meaningful conversation. High-value men, however, understand that diving deeper into someone's interests, passions, and experiences allows for genuine engagement. By asking about a person's dreams, goals, or values, they show that they are truly invested in learning more about the person beyond surface-level interactions. For example, instead of asking, "What's your favorite movie?" a high-value man might ask, "What inspires you creatively, and how has that influenced your life choices?" This type of question encourages someone to reflect on their passions, motivations, and deeper truths. It's not just about what a person enjoys, but about what drives them, giving rise to more meaningful conversations that are far more memorable. Thoughtful questions also demonstrate emotional intelligence. When a man asks a question that requires introspection or personal reflection, he reveals a deeper understanding of human nature. Asking about someone's past experiences, what challenges they've faced, or what lessons they've learned, shows that he is not merely interested in surface-level details, but in the person's journey and growth. This deeper inquiry fosters trust and connection because people naturally want to share their stories when they feel heard and valued. It's not just about gaining knowledge, it's about creating a shared human connection. Another benefit of asking thoughtful questions is that they allow a man to build rapport with others in a genuine and non-superficial way. People are naturally drawn to those who show curiosity and care about them. When someone feels seen and understood, they're more likely to feel comfortable and connected. Thoughtful questions give people the chance to express themselves and share parts of their identity that they might not often have the opportunity to discuss. They help to uncover shared values, experiences, and interests, leading to deeper relationships that go beyond surface-level interactions. Additionally, thoughtful questions often steer conversations away from common clichés, offering a refreshing break from typical, predictable dialogue. High-value men aren't interested in simply filling silence with words. They are intentional in the way they communicate. They understand that conversations should be engaging and thought-provoking, and thoughtful questions allow them to achieve this. By steering the conversation toward topics of substance, they not only enrich the interaction, but demonstrate that they are capable of meaningful exchanges. Thoughtful questions also reveal a man's ability to listen. Active listening is a key component of effective communication, and when a man listens attentively and responds with insightful questions, it shows that he is genuinely interested in what the other person has to say. Listening well involves more than hearing words. It means truly absorbing the content of what is being shared and asking follow-up questions that indicate deeper understanding. Thoughtful questions show that a man values the other person's thoughts and perspectives, which creates a dynamic where the conversation feels like a shared experience rather than a one-sided exchange. High-value men understand that asking thoughtful questions isn't just about gathering information, it's about creating depth. They recognize that conversations should leave both parties feeling more connected and fulfilled. By asking questions that provoke introspection, encourage storytelling, and reveal deeper truths, a man enhances his own understanding while helping others feel seen, heard, and valued. This approach naturally builds respect, admiration, and trust. Ultimately, asking thoughtful questions is about prioritizing connection over self-interest. It's about showing others that they matter, that their stories have significance, and that they are worth getting to know on a deeper level. Thoughtful questions have the power to transform simple conversations into memorable experiences, creating bonds that last far beyond the exchange itself. In a world where superficial interactions dominate, the man who embraces thoughtful questioning stands out by cultivating authenticity, curiosity, and respect in every conversation. Number 9. Confidence without ego. Confidence without ego is a state of being that high-value men embody effortlessly. It's not about seeking external validation or needing to prove their worth through words or actions. Instead, true confidence is rooted in self-awareness, humility, and a quiet assurance that radiates from within. Men who possess confidence without ego don't feel the need to boast or dominate conversations. They don't rely on flashy displays of status or possessions to gain admiration. Instead, their confidence comes from a deep understanding of their own value and the belief that they don't need to seek approval from others. This form of confidence is subtle and understated, yet powerful. It doesn't require loud proclamations or over-the-top displays of self-importance. Instead, it is a calm, composed certainty that is evident in how they carry themselves, how they speak, and how they interact with the world around them. High-value men who exhibit confidence without ego understand that their value isn't dependent on external factors. They don't need to brag about their achievements, their possessions, or their status to feel worthy. Their worth comes from within, through the belief in their own abilities, their principles, and their character. This quiet confidence is far more attractive than any boastful display because it signals a deep sense of self-assuredness that doesn't rely on external validation. One of the most critical aspects of confidence without ego is the ability to remain humble. High-value men recognize that arrogance and boasting often stem from insecurity. When a man feels the need to constantly advertise his achievements or worth, it often suggests a lack of confidence in his own value. On the other hand, those who embody confidence without ego possess the wisdom to know that their true worth doesn't need constant affirmation. They are secure in who they are, and that security allows them to treat others with respect and humility. Confidence without ego is not about dismissing one's accomplishments or undervaluing their achievements, but rather, it's about recognizing that their worth is not contingent on others' opinions or judgments. They understand that their value doesn't need constant external reinforcement. This form of confidence speaks volumes because it's not driven by a need to control or manipulate others, but by an inner knowing that they are enough, just as they are. Another defining characteristic of confidence without ego is the ability to handle criticism and rejection with grace. High-value men are comfortable in their own skin and don't need to be right all the time or viewed as infallible. When they encounter criticism, they don't react defensively or angrily. Instead, they listen, reflect, and use feedback as an opportunity to grow. They understand that their worth isn't diminished by others' opinions or mistakes. This approach to criticism helps them avoid the traps of ego-driven arrogance, allowing them to remain composed and in control of their emotions. Confidence without ego also involves maintaining composure in the face of challenges. High-value men don't let setbacks, failures, or obstacles dictate their sense of self. They understand that life is filled with uncertainties and difficulties, and they don't allow external circumstances to determine their worth. Instead, they remain steady, calm, and composed, knowing that their value is inherent and not defined by external success or failure. This composure enables them to face adversity with resilience and grace, staying true to their values and principles even in the face of difficult circumstances. Moreover, confidence without ego allows high-value men to focus on the journey rather than the destination. They recognize that their self-worth is tied to the pursuit of growth, self-improvement, and personal development, not the accumulation of accolades, material possessions, or external validation. They understand that true confidence is a lifelong process, built on continuous effort, reflection, and the willingness to embrace challenges. This mindset frees them from the constant pursuit of validation and approval, allowing them to act with integrity and authenticity. Another key element of confidence without ego is the ability to uplift and support others. High-value men don't feel threatened by the success or achievements of others. They recognize that true confidence is about understanding that there's enough abundance for everyone, and their value isn't diminished by others' successes. They are comfortable in their own skin and are more focused on contributing to the success and growth of those around them, rather than competing or comparing themselves to others. This allows them to foster meaningful relationships based on mutual respect and shared growth, rather than insecurity and competition. Confidence without ego also enables high-value men to build deeper connections with others. They are not driven by a need to dominate conversations or be the center of attention. Instead, they listen intently, show genuine interest in others, and ask thoughtful questions. Their confidence allows them to engage in meaningful two-way conversations where both parties feel heard and valued. They don't seek attention or validation, but rather their presence naturally draws others in, due to their calm and composed demeanor. Furthermore, confidence without ego is about maintaining a clear sense of purpose. High-value men understand that their value isn't tied to how others perceive them, but to the impact they make on the world, and those around focus on living with purpose, staying aligned with their values, and acting in a way that reflects their principles. This clarity of purpose allows them to remain grounded and focused, even when external circumstances might challenge their sense of self-worth. Confidence without ego is also a protective force against insecurity and the fear of rejection. High-value men are secure enough to embrace uncertainty, knowing that their worth isn't determined by whether they are accepted or admired. They don't seek external validation as a source of self-esteem, but find it from within. This inward confidence enables them to approach life with an attitude of abundance, knowing that their value is constant and doesn't waver with external circumstances. Lastly, confidence without ego allows high-value men to be content with who they are, regardless of circumstances. They don't rely on the opinions of others or external markers of success to define their self-worth. Instead, they cultivate a deep-rooted sense of inner peace that stems from knowing their value isn't contingent on achievements, social status, or material possessions. This contentment is far more attractive and lasting than any fleeting ego-driven validation. In conclusion, confidence without ego is a powerful trait that high-value men embody. It's about understanding that true confidence comes from within, not from external validation, boastfulness, or the need to prove one's worth. It's about embracing humility, handling criticism gracefully, and focusing on personal growth and purpose. High-value men who possess this type of confidence naturally attract respect, admiration, and deeper connections, creating a lasting impact without the need for validation from others. Number 10. End with grace. Ending conversations with grace is an art form that many overlook, yet it holds immense significance in building lasting impressions and fostering deeper connections. When done effectively, it leaves a positive final impression, one that resonates long after the interaction is over. High-value men understand the power of ending on a high note, recognizing that how a conversation concludes can be as important, if not more, than how it begins. Many individuals fall into the trap of overstaying their welcome or trying too hard to impress, often leading to awkward or forced moments. However, those who master the skill of ending with grace know that there is strength in knowing when to exit. The goal is not to cling to the conversation in hopes of saying the perfect thing to seal the deal, but rather to leave a lasting impression of confidence, authenticity, and self-assuredness. One of the first principles of ending with grace is reading the room. High-value men are attuned to social cues, recognizing when the conversation has peaked and when it's time to gracefully step away. They don't force interactions or try to drag things out in the hope of finding some elusive, perfect moment. Instead, they are mindful of the other person's engagement level and body language, understanding when the connection has reached its natural conclusion. This awareness helps them avoid awkward or prolonged goodbyes, which can diminish the overall quality of the interaction. Another critical aspect of ending with grace is maintaining confidence without arrogance. Many men mistakenly believe that in order to be memorable, they need to leave with a grand statement or a flurry of compliments. However, high-value men understand that a quiet, confident departure often speaks louder than any boastful attempt. When they conclude a conversation, they don't need to seek external validation or closure through words. Their departure is seamless, leaving the other person intrigued rather than feeling overwhelmed or smothered. Confidence without ego is key here. A man who ends a conversation gracefully isn't trying to prove anything or extract validation from the interaction. Instead, he remains secure in his self-worth, understanding that his value doesn't need constant affirmation. This calm assurance makes his exit more impactful. It tells the other person that he is comfortable in his own skin and that he doesn't need to cling to the interaction for reassurance. In fact, the very act of leaving with grace often enhances his value in the eyes of others, creating a lasting impression of someone who knows how to handle himself with maturity and confidence. Graceful exits are also characterized by their brevity and simplicity. High-value men avoid the temptation to over-explain or drag out goodbyes. Instead, they opt for concise and respectful endings, ensuring they don't make the conversation feel forced or unnatural. A warm smile, a firm but polite goodbye, and perhaps a brief acknowledgement of the positive aspects of the interaction create a lasting impression. It's not about leaving abruptly, but rather about leaving with intention, acknowledging the moment while ensuring it doesn't become awkward or overstayed. When a conversation is ended gracefully, it creates a sense of anticipation rather than closure. The other person is often left wondering, what more might there have been? This intrigue sparks curiosity, which can lead to further interaction, or, at the very least, a positive recollection of the encounter. High-value men know that leaving others with a sense of intrigue is far more impactful than trying to extract every ounce of attention. The focus isn't on creating a perfect final impression, but on ensuring that the interaction feels natural, respectful, and authentic. They leave the door open for future conversations by not forcing an abrupt end, but instead gracefully transitioning into the next phase of interaction or distance. One of the common mistakes many men make is failing to recognize when to leave because they are too focused on seeking validation or approval. They cling to conversations, attempting to prolong them with unnecessary chatter, compliments, or jokes, hoping for some form of admiration or validation. However, high-value men understand that seeking external validation through prolonged interactions is not only ineffective, but also unattractive. They understand that the best way to make an impression is to trust the process, knowing that leaving on a high note enhances their allure. Graceful exits don't rely on clever or rehearsed lines, but rather on genuine confidence and self-assuredness. Another key element of ending with grace is emotional intelligence. High-value men possess the ability to manage their emotions and gauge the emotions of others. They are aware of when a conversation might become monotonous or strained, and when it's time to provide closure. They don't ignore the subtle signs of discomfort or disinterest from the other person. Instead, they recognize these signs and respond accordingly, ensuring that the interaction ends on a positive note, rather than drifting into awkward silence or forced goodbyes. Their emotional intelligence allows them to sense when a moment is complete, giving them the awareness to conclude it gracefully. Endings with grace also create lasting impressions because they reflect maturity and respect. High-value men understand that how they leave someone's presence speaks volumes about their character. A man who can exit a conversation with grace leaves the other person feeling valued and respected rather than dismissed or drained. They leave a positive memory, one that inspires admiration and respect. This respect for others ensures that the interaction remains constructive and leaves both parties with a sense of mutual fulfillment. In addition, ending with grace fosters self-reliance. High-value men don't need constant validation or external affirmation to feel complete. They are comfortable walking away from situations without needing closure or reassurance. This detachment from needing external validation is what often makes their exits memorable and impactful. They are secure enough in their own worth to understand that a brief, respectful departure often holds more value than prolonged attempts to make a lasting impression. Ultimately, Ending with grace is not about forcing interactions to fit a certain mold, but about respecting the natural flow of human connection. High-value men understand that forcing the perfect ending often leads to artificial or insincere moments. Instead, they focus on being genuine, confident, and aware of when the right time to leave is. Their grace in departure leaves a lasting impact, creating a memory that resonates with those they encounter. When a conversation ends naturally, with intention and respect, it leaves a positive impression that stands the test of time.